Hey you guys, it's your girl T and I'm here for another recap of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So let's go ahead and get started. So the show opens up with Kenya and she's sitting at the restaurant talking to Miss, whatever, Lawrence. And they're chopping it up and Kenya's like, I had such a good time in Savannah. And Miss Lawrence is like, it's not Savannah, it's Savannah. And Kenya's like, well, you know, I'm from up north. I don't know how to pronounce it. Kenya, bitch, it's not rocket science. It's Savannah, Georgia. You get mad at people call you Miss America as opposed to Miss USA, whatever the hell your title is. But you mean to tell me that you don't know the difference between Savannah and Savannah? Girl, bye. So Kenya's sitting there once again running her mouth and she's talking about Chuck Smith and how, you know, Chuck Smith basically didn't put a ring on Phaedra's hand or on Candy's hand and that Phaedra was just to jump off. And then Miss Lawrence is like, Chuck, I know a Chuck. And then Kenya asks Lawrence, did you fuck Chuck? And thank goodness Miss Lawrence said no, because had he said yes, I'm sure Monique with a Y in her name would have had a damn heart attack while watching that shit unfold on national television. I'd have fell out if Miss Lawrence was like, yeah, I fucked Chuck. Who ain't fucked Chuck? So speaking of damn Chuck decides to invite Phaedra and Nene out to Athens, Georgia. He tells them that he wants to meet with them because he is a spokesman for the Boys and Girls Club and he wants them to give back like how he has, and he wants them to come and speak to all the boys and girls at this club. So at first Nene and Phaedra were kind of nervous because they were thinking that Chuck was going to bring up the whole Monique situation, but he didn't. He just wanted them to come with him out to Athens. So they decide to say yes and they start planning for their trip to go back home to Athens, Georgia. So in the next scene, Mallory, who is Cynthia's Bailey's sister, she comes back to ATL because her husband is going to be away for the next few months playing football. So they're talking about the whole situation. You can tell that Cynthia still feels some type of way about how her sister and her mom behaved at her wedding, but Cynthia's trying to let that go. Mallory's saying that this whole relationship with Peter has taken a whole strain on their sisterhood, and Cynthia is agreeing with that. So Cynthia starts to open up to her sister and she's telling Mal how, you know, ever since she had the fibroids and she's just been feeling some type of way. She really doesn't like sleeping with Peter as much as she used to. She's like, she's lucky they can, you know, even sleep together once a week. So as Cynthia is telling Mal all this stuff with her sex life, Mal's angry face ass claims that she has sex not once, but 3 times a day. And I'm sitting there looking at Mal like, this bitch is full of shit. Ain't no way in hell anybody who's in a marriage, who's been married for years, having sex 2 to 3 times per day. That's not how it works out. The only folks having that much sex are people who are in new relationships. When you first get with your man and you first get into a new relationship, hell, I'm guilty of having sex with somebody 5 times in one damn day. You know what I'm saying? So yes, it's possible to have sex 2 to 3, maybe 5 times in a day, but that's usually in newer relationships. As a relationship progresses, most people don't have that much sex in one day. It's not buying Mal's story. Half the time when you see her and her husband, she looks angry, he looks depressed. They don't even look like they want to be around each other. So I highly doubt that she's sleeping with her husband 2 to 3 times a day. I think she means 2 to 3 times per week, but of course she wants to make Cynthia feel bad for some reason that she's not giving Peter none. And in my personal opinion, the reason why Cynthia is not sleeping with Peter the way that she needs to is because she's turned off by Peter. She's not attracted to him, and I'm not saying physically, but that love is not there. That strong connection that they initially had when they first fell in love is not there. And once you start losing that with your partner, the sex is definitely going to dwindle. For women, sex is way deeper than something physical. It's mental. And if a woman doesn't have that mental connection with you, you're not going to get it. So there's a lot going on in their relationship, but we'll get back to that in the next scene. So in the next scene, Cynthia brings Mal to the Bailey agency because Mal hasn't seen it yet. And so she's showing around the Bailey agency. They see Peter's brand new Benz. So Mal's like, well, dang, when did he get a brand new Benz? And Cynthia, and I think Cynthia was kind of being messy. Granted, that's her sister, but she knows how her sister is. So Cynthia proceeds to tell Mal that, you know, Peter bought the car. Cynthia didn't know anything about it. He's just buying whatever he wants to buy himself. The same way she didn't even realize that he had went and bought this Bailey agency. So, of course, Mal feels some type of way. So as they're talking, Peter ends up walking into the scene. And it's just like this kind of like this uncomfortable silence. And Peter's like, what's she doing here? And Cynthia's like, well, she's going to be moving in with us. She's going to be living with us for the next 2 months. And Peter's looking like he ain't having it. He doesn't want to have nothing to do with Mal ever since Mal and her mom pulled that stunt at their wedding. And so Peter's, talking to Cynthia like, well, why wouldn't you tell me this in advance? When did we just start allowing people to move in with us for 2 months straight and there's no discussion when I'm your husband? And Cynthia's like, well, I didn't know. She just showed up in town. She just told me today. And then Mal starts running her damn mouth talking about, well, why did she have to tell you about me coming to come stay with y'all when you got a brand new car and you didn't even tell her? See, that's why I can't fuck with Mal. Mal is just way too messy. She's way too bitter. Even if you don't like your sister's husband, still respect the fact that your sister's in a relationship and stay the hell up out of it. Her bringing up the point about Peter buying that car was not Mal's place. That's why I said Cynthia shouldn't have told Mal shit, because Mal is messy as hell, and now she's going to do is cause more stress in their already fragile relationship. On the next scene, we see ditzy ass Portia and her mama Diane. And I like Portia's mama Diane. She's funny as hell. So Portia is out with mama Diane and they're going shopping to go buy her dogs Coco and Chanel church dresses. First of all, I didn't know pets were allowed in the sanctuary. I don't know what type of church they go to, but when did they start allowing dogs at church? So she's buying her dogs church dresses and she's dressing them up like they're her children. And Diane is like, you treat these dogs like they're your babies. And of course, ditzy Portia, who's 32, but wants the world to believe that she's about 15 years old. She goes, well, they are like children. They're just like children. You have to feed them and clothe them and you have to take care of them. A dog is not the same as a child. You choose to take care of a dog. You need to take care of your child. It's no choice. You have to take care of your child. You have to feed your child. You have to clothe your child. You don't have to have a dog. This woman is insane. So anyways, after all that, after picking out the outfit, she finds this blinged out stroller and she gets really excited and she tells her mom that, she feels like she's grown even though she's squealing like a toddler over this blinged out stroller for her dog. She tells her mom that she's ready to move out of her mom's house. She said that she's ready to move out on her own, get her own home, and, she needs to leave. So Diane's like, wow, that's a really big decision. You're ready to move. You have enough money to move. And Portia says yes, but then proceeds to ask her mother to pay for her dog's church dresses and the stroller. It's like this woman is a straight up trip. So in the next scene, we see Portia. She decides to invite her half-sister Lauren over to her new house, her mother Diane, and her brother Hosea. So they all come to this house, and this house is a sprawling mansion. This house is huge. It has to be at least 10,000 square feet. And it's like all this for Portia. You could have got a nice condo. You could have got a nice house that was like 2,000 square feet. It's just you. You have no children. Your 2 little miniature dogs are not your kids. They don't need that much space to run around. This woman literally has a 10-bedroom house to herself. And it's so obvious that she just did this for TV because her mama, her brother, and her sister are all looking at her like she's crazy. Her mama's like, Portia, are you for real? Her brother's like, can you afford this? Have you talked to the accountant? And Portia just sitting there acting like a schoolgirl like, yeah, I can afford this. I'm a big girl now. I have to put on my big panties. And if I fall on my ass, it's on me and not Cordell. I mean, this woman just drives me insane. But my favorite part of that scene was when Miss Diana walked in the kitchen was like, Portia, oh my God, this is such a huge kitchen. Then she proceeds to just jump and slide on the counter like she was reaching for the last rack of ribs. It's like, damn, Miss Diane, where'd all that energy come from? So that scene had me cracking up when she just leaped across the counter like that. But Portia, she needs to get it together. This is just for her to create a storyline. From what I'm hearing, she's not coming back. I believe her storyline for next season is going to be that Portia's ass is in foreclosure and boo fucking who. We need to figure out how we're going to help her. All she's doing is trying to build a storyline because she has no storyline outside of Cordell. So in the next thing we have good old Candy. And good old Candy's on her way to go meet up with Derek J. She's going to Derek J's salon, supposedly go see Mama Joyce. But we all know why Candy's going there. She's going to go pay the tab. So Mama Joyce is getting her hair fried, dyed, and laid to the damn side. Derek J's doing the damn thing to Mama Joyce's head, even though he looks like he's about to tip over with that big ass head and them damn 6-inch heels. I can't stand them heels that he puts on, but I guess that's his thing. He's just over the top. I don't even know females who do hair in 6-inch heels. But you go on, Derek. You do you, boo. So anyways, Mama Joyce is sitting there with that ugh mug face. She's just sitting there scrawling, angry, arms are crossed. This is like the angriest old woman I've ever seen in my life. And Candy is just such a sweet girl. Candy's coming in with all this light and she's bubbling. She's like, hey Mama, hey Derek. And she's just trying to talk to him about the trip to Savannah. And the whole time, Mama Joyce is just scrawling. Now before Candy got there, she was cool. Her and Derek J was having a conversation. It got so uncomfortable that Derek J excused himself and he walked out the damn scene. It's like you could cut the tension with a knife. Mama Joyce has serious issues. So she So she proceeds to tell Kandi that she's been talking to a doctor, and her doctor told her that she don't need to stress Kandi's situation and she needs to just distance herself from Kandi. First of all, boo, you weren't talking to a doctor. Keep it real, you were talking to a psychiatrist, because if you haven't been talking to a psychiatrist, you definitely need one. Because your anger issues and you being mad at Todd and you taking that on your daughter is just insane to me. Be happy for your daughter. She's grown. If she makes a mistake, if she marries the wrong person, that's on Kandi. If you raised her right, she'll be okay. You know, I don't understand this whole attitude with Mama Joyce. It's getting to be a bit much, and it's really, really disgusting because Kandi is trying her hardest to make her mother feel good, to look out for her mom, to be there for her mom, but her mom continues to shit on her. Next thing, we go back to Chuck and Nene and Phaedra. So they're at the Boys and Girls Club and they're talking, and it's literally like 6 kids on this bench. I'm like, okay, mister, I'm supposed to be the whole, you know, the head of the Boys and Girls Club in Athens. You would think there would have been a gym full of kids. A bunch of kids wanting to see Nene, Phaedra, and Mr. Chuck Smith. Obviously, the people of Athens don't give two shit because it was just 5 kids there in the entire damn building. So as they're leaving, they're all in the car, and Chuck then decides to bring up the whole Monique situation that happened down in Savannah, and he starts trying to confront Phaedra, and he's like, you know what, why would you tell my wife that we had a relationship and that I was your boyfriend? And Phaedra was like, because you were my boyfriend, we were dating. And Chuck is like, you know what, you and me were the original definition of friends with benefits. I was not your man, I was just having sex with you, you was just on my team, just like Kandi was on my team. When I tell y'all this was one of the most uncomfortable conversations I've ever seen on television, it was sad, and the whole time Nene's sitting there trying to play it off. Chuck is just so full of himself, and for him to take his anger and his frustrations, because you know when Monique embarrassed herself by bringing this shit up, she went back and twisted all their words around to Chuck. So then Chuck felt some type of way and decided to take it out on Phaedra, which to me was just very tacky and very classless, and it says a lot about Chuck and Monique's situation. First of all, your punk ass wife shouldn't have confronted them in the first damn place. How the hell do you hang out with some girls who used to screw your ex-husband? Kandi didn't bring that shit up. Phaedra didn't bring it up. Your stupid ass wife brought the shit up. I knew her mama was dumb as hell by naming her Monique with a Y, but damn it, I didn't realize she was dumb as hell her damn self, and you're even dumber, Chuck, for even feeding into this stupid ass shit. Just because you screwed a bunch of girls because you were in the NFL and you were rich at one point in time does not make you a king of anything. It doesn't make you a pimp. It makes you look like a man with self-esteem issues. Any man who has to stick his dick in 50 million different girls and then think that it's cool to brag about it and you're in your late 40s, you look like a loser and a chump. And that's why everybody drugged the hell out of him on Twitter. They went in on Chuck Smith. This man has 4,000 followers. But you want to sit up here and act like you somebody now? At least they're still handling their business. Nobody was thinking about your ass before you got up on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I want to make another thing clear. I definitely believe that this was a setup by Nene Leakes. I believe that Nene set this up for some type of storyline. Because when you think about it, that whole situation at the Boys and Girls Club was a setup. What number 6 damn kids there, point blank period. It wasn't like it was a whole bunch of kids. How do you set up something for them to go talk positive to boys and girls, and then you turn around and start knocking a woman and start talking about your sex lives? Aren't these same little boys that you want to look up to you as a role model watching this show? I mean, this is insane. Why would you even carry yourself like that on a show like this? So I definitely believe that Chuck, Monique, and Nene were in this. Nene does not like Phaedra. Nene does not like Kandi. So I definitely believe that she was behind bringing her friends into the picture to embarrass Phaedra and to embarrass Kandi. And I just think the whole situation was tacky as hell. It made Nene look tacky in my personal opinion because I think she's behind it. It made Monique with the Y look tacky as fuck. And it made Chuck look even more tackier. I didn't like that situation at all. I thought it was just uncalled for and unnecessary. And I give Phaedra props for handling it with class. Couldn't have been me sitting in the back seat right behind Chuck. He would have got popped in the back of that big ass head of his. His head done got real damn big over the years. That was some bitch ass shit for him to put them on blast like that. Like they were nothing more than jump offs to him. He needs to have several seats for that stupid ass car conversation. So on to the next thing, we have Cynthia and Peter, and they're going back and forth about the whole Mal situation. Peter is still upset. He's basically mad that Cynthia is not okay with him getting a man cave down the street. He thinks that whenever they have issues, instead of them talking to each other like adults in a marriage, that he should just run to his bat cave and go hide out. You know, this is ridiculous. What grown man thinks it's okay to have an apartment down the street when you have a big ass house here with your wife and your stepchild, and you have bills here in this household that you need to pay? Why take on another household when you have a business or car note and a household with your wife? It's like this man is just so financially immature. It's just so disgusting. And I really understand Cynthia's plight. There's nothing worse than getting with somebody who's all about fronting and putting on a show. And then when it comes down to it, they don't have no fucking money in the bank. Or they always have their hand out asking you for money, asking you to pay their bills, asking you to help them out. That shit gets old after a while. And I think that's where Cynthia has gotten. You know, and I've been in that situation with guys where they think they can use me for my money or use me to help them out. It's like at first it's okay, but at the end of the day, you're a man. What are you bringing to the table? You know what I'm saying? Why am I looking out for you? Why am I helping you out? How come when I need something, I can't get the same treatment? And that's where Cynthia needs to realize that this relationship is not worth it. He can't call Peter and ask to borrow stacks of money from him, or she can't depend on him to make sure that their finances are straight. It's only going to get worse from here. It makes no sense to be with somebody who cannot handle their business financially. There's nothing more frustrating than being in a relationship with somebody who wants to take trips and buy cars and floss and, you know, stunt for their fucking friends, but then their finances are all in disarray. That is the most frustrating thing that anybody can be taken through, and I would advise anybody who's in a situation like this, cut them off and keep it damn moving. I'd rather have my money, my peace of mind, than have to sit here and take care of a grown-ass man in his fucked up ass situations. Peter is not worth it. Let him go move on to his little bat cave. Let him figure out how he's gonna pay his little car note. He's gonna pay for his little bat cave once he doesn't have you there, you know what I'm saying, helping him finance his lifestyle. Because that's all he's doing is using Cynthia. It's because of her celebrity. It's because of her role on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. You know what I'm saying, that he's able to have a little bit of stuff that he does have. Like she said, when they first got into the relationship, he sold her a dream. She thought he was doing way more than what he was. And it's sad because there's a lot of people, guys and girls, who are out here who make themselves out to be way more than what they really are. That's why you really have to get to know folks, because folks will sell you a fucking bridge and expect you to walk over it. And then when you go to walk over and the bridge collapses, they get mad at you. You know, so it's just insane. I feel really, really bad for Cynthia. I think she just needs to move on. Peter is not going to change. That man has some serious anger issues. So anyways, this is my recap of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Go ahead, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this week's episode. What did you like? What did you hate? Make sure you follow me on Twitter. I am @LovelyT. All right, deuces.